The very first champion, Kennen, just got revealed for the new Magical Misadventures expansion, and I'm here to take a look at it and reveal all the cards that have been shown so far. Let's get into it.
I possess the secrets of Kinku.
Alright.
Mastered the rain, lightning, and clouds.
He's 1 mana. 1 mana 2/1 from Ionia, Bandle City, quick attack. When I'm summoned, create a Mark of the Storm in hand. A 1 mana 2/1 quick attack is actually quite good. The Mark of the Storm. I didn't catch it, but I'm sure we'll see it later.
Solves everything. Your technique lacks technique. I am a student of impeccable breath.
This got released yesterday.
Wind, that which has no form.
What an interesting level of condition. Mark of the Storm. Grant an enemy Mark of the Storm. If they already have it, remove the mark to stun and deal 2 of them instead. So they will keep that mark permanently no matter the turn you use it on, meaning you will really want to recall Kennen to get more of those Mark of the Storms. And you want to recall, well, Kennen, I guess, so you can actually level him up. Being able to deal direct damage in a region like Ionia is very powerful. This seems extremely strong so far. We haven't even seen his level 2. Alright, so he got recalled, so he has 2. Yeah, that's very strong. But having to recall all the time is still a tempo loss, so we'll have to see what the payoff is for that.
In all things. We got this.
Oh, I didn't see what that was.
Extra hands never hurt.
Yeah, with the Kinku Wayfinder, that's pretty powerful too. 2 cannons instantly.
Now you will see my final move.
Oh, wow. What is he attacking even? Kennen. When I'm summoned, blocked, or attacked, create... Wow. That is very, very strong. Because you will always have... He's like Fizz. He can't be blocked once he's level 2. Because you attack, you get a Mark of the Storm, and then when he's blocked, you get another one. So you're always going to be able to stun your blocker.
Wind and thunder.
That is so interesting.
Rain and lightning.
Oh my god. 3 cannons. Get all the marks.
Ow. Ah, my student, what technique will you use?
Embers of desolation.
I love the way that these cards look. Kind of like the elemental Yordles.
I serve the Kinku. They could not hope to win.
That looks really, really powerful. Just at first glance. Alright, let's look at the cards one by one, and I'll give my opinion on this package and all the cards that have been revealed so far. Okay, so Kennen as the champion looks very, very powerful to me, just because he is a 1 mana 2/1, and he looks to be kind of like a really good recall engine, I guess, because you keep getting cards that are very, very powerful. Dealing 2 damage in a region like Ionia is just incredibly powerful. I don't know, like, I think with Kennen you want to play pretty fast, so... You know, people are going to be yelling Yasuo synergy, and while I think he might be playable with Yasuo or Ezreal, it's going to be really hard to play with slower cards, because for 1 mana, you want to level him up as fast as possible, and then just win the game with how much value he provides in his level 2 form, getting a Mark of the Storm for basically anything you do. So you've summoned the same ally 5 times this game. I guess that means just a card with the same name, not the same card, so you can summon any Kennen from your deck 3 times. If you use the Kinku Wayfinder, the 2/3 Allegiance card, you can summon Kennen twice instantly, start recalling him, and then you're already pretty close to leveling him up. You just need 3 more recall cards, and we've seen some new ones in the video too. I still feel like it's going to be pretty hard to actually win a game, because Kennen seems to just be a really efficient card, much like Fizz, where you have to do a lot of additional things to actually win the game. But we've seen how good of a card Fizz can be. He's been in many competitive decks, and I'm expecting the same thing to happen to Kennen. Just a really good card at what it does, but you need to have more going on to actually win a game. But we're still getting an Ahri reveal, so I'm pretty optimistic that Ahri is exactly what is going to do that part of the deck that Kennen goes into. Kennen looks very, very powerful, and I am fully expecting Kennen to be played a lot. Also, I'm not really sure if this is the way to play Kennen, but Bandle City Mayor makes Kennen 0 mana, and with recalls, that is pretty insane. So Kennen's champion spell is Lightning Rush. fast speed for 3 mana, recall an ally to deal 2 to anything. It's important to note that it is a Bandle City card and it can deal 2 to anything, so even phase. This kind of seems like a must-play in Kennen decks almost. So recalling Kennen to get closer to leveling him up and then dealing 2 to anything is going to be a pretty powerful swing turn because you can save your ally and deal some damage to an enemy unit. This doesn't even have to go in a Kennen deck really. This is just a really powerful card by itself. Very powerful that this is Kennen's champion spell, so you're always going to have access to it. You're most likely going to keep Kennen on the board or in your hand, so it's pretty likely that you get access to Lightning Rush too. I don't know, this all seems really powerful, especially if you're going to be playing with Ionia, because Ionia just doesn't have that direct damage, and Kennen gives you that. Super strong. Next is the Ember Monk, a 4-mana 3/3 with quick attack. When you summon another ally, grant me +1/+0. It's a Bandle City card. This does not look that strong to me. Maybe I'm missing something. I think this is just too slow. You're gonna have a big quick attack unit for 4 mana, and we've seen Tristana, who does get the attack slower, but even C isn't really played a lot. 4 mana 3/3s have just been really, really weak in Runeterra for the most part, if they don't impact the board in a big way immediately. So I'm not seeing this one, unless I'm missing something, but even if you have to dream, like even if you're playing this with like Blades, Sand Soldiers, wow, speaking of Blades and Sand Soldiers, that would actually level Kennen super fast. I don't think that's how you want to play him though, even with Shark Chariots, I guess. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, you could do that with Kennen, but doesn't seem worth it. But even if you do that for Kennen and the Ember Monk, I don't think that's good enough. Next is Risu the Silent Storm. 5 mana 1/1. When I'm summoned, summon a Storm Cloud. Storm Cloud is a 5 mana 7/3 with impact. Okay, so this is really interesting because generally you really don't want to be recalling your big units because that means that you have to play them again for the same mana cost just to get the body back on the board. With Risu, you're recalling a 1/1 and you won't have to recall the 7/3 that she leaves behind. So if you play this with a card like Go Get It, you can just summon 3 Storm Clouds. That's really interesting. You also just, if you play this card, you get a 1/1 blocker and then like a 7/3 to use in any other way. The problem I have with this is that a 7/3 with just impact isn't going to be enough to close out a game. If you can give this Overwhelm or Elusive, it is going to be very strong, but that's also going to require additional cards to make war. This is a very synergy heavy card that if you can find those combo, it's going to be very powerful, but standalone, I'm not seeing this one. I really love what they're going for here though, that you have an actual summon effect so you don't have to recall your big dude to keep summoning them. And then some of the cards that were revealed yesterday. The first one is the Gust Monk, 2 mana 2/2. When I'm summoned, create a Cloud Stance in hand. Cloud Stance is a 1 mana burst, give an ally +2/+0 and round end, recall me this round. So this is super strange to me because this actually just seems like a downside. When you recall an ally, you're mostly doing it to save that unit from dying. With Cloud Stance, you don't really have a choice. It's only going to get recalled at round end. And that also means that you won't have that unit when the next round starts to either block or open attack. So it's like a Rek'Sai effect, really. Like the unit, instead of going back into your deck, it goes back to your hand, but it does remove itself from the field. Generally, like cards that add another card to your hand are pretty powerful, but Gust Monk is in Bandle City and it competes with something like the Conchologist, which I think is just a lot better because it gives you more answers and more cards. So just for Kennen, I guess for Kennen, since he's 1 mana, this is not bad. It does make a lot of sense to play a +2 attack on a quick attack unit and then recall it the next round, or round end rather. But still, that seems a little bit iffy and I don't think that's going to be powerful enough. Next is a Tornado Warrior. 2 mana 2/2. When I'm summoned, grant me +1/+0 and a random keyword. I keep these stat buffs and keywords when I'm recalled. So my only question is, why can't Katarina do this? This is a 2 mana 3/2 basically, but it doesn't recall itself. So after we see Kennen, this actually does feel a lot worse because Kennen has quick attack, likes to attack. With this, you kind of have to high roll. You don't even know if you're going to be able to attack with this. The best possible keywords you can find on this is elusive and lifesteal, I guess. And then if you want to attack with it, you need something like tough or quick attack, challenger even, so you can pick your fights. But even that, I don't really see it with this one. Also, it's important to note that it says I keep these stats, so not any stats that you give to this with something like a Twin Discipline. Only the +1 attack that you keep giving and the keyword. So for that reason, I don't really think this is good enough, but I'm happy to be wrong because it looks like a very fun card to play with. Next is Quicken, a 2 mana fast speed spell from Bandle City. Recall a unit with 3 or less power. This seems really, really good, especially because this is another card that you can find off the Conchologist. We're seeing a lot of Swain being played. Sometimes we still see Thresh being played, and this card directly counters those because Swain decks don't very often have attack increases, and neither do Thresh decks because they're in Shadow Isles. Some other cards you could use this on are Lux, Lee Sin, but that's pretty unlikely to actually go the right way. We even have a card like Anivia that this is going to completely ruin. Wow, Anivia is devastated by this card. Good, because I don't really like Anivia. Heimerdinger and Quinn also just get destroyed by... Oh, this looks so strong, so flexible, and so good. You can even use this on your own units. We've seen how good Nopify was, and Nopify just felt like a smaller version of Snnuy. This looks like a smaller version of Will of Ionia. And Will of Ionia has been a very powerful card in the past. And this is only 2 mana, so this looks bonkers to me. This looks so good. This is going to see a lot of play, I think. Not even with Kennen, just in any Ionia deck. Next is a Thunder Fist. A 3 mana 2/3 impact. When I'm summoned, if you've summoned a Thunder Fist this game, transform me into Masa Crashing Thunder. Masa Crashing Thunder is a 3 mana 5/4 with impact. So this unit has to be either recalled or you just need to play a second copy. I don't think I like this because I don't like cards that force you to recall them unless they're cheap enough like Kennen or unless they have a really good upside like the Tornado Warrior. And even the Tornado Warrior I don't really like that much. This is like, hey, recall me so you can play me again, or else you just have a bad card. And I don't think that works, even though a 3 mana 5/4 can be really strong, especially in like aggro decks. Like we've seen Poppy Ziggs run stuff like Stone Stackers. This is 1 mana more for +3/+1 in stats. But you have to do too much work to actually get it online, I think. You need to have a tempo loss to get that tempo gain for a 5/4 with impact. So unless Kennen decks are so good and efficient at recalling, I don't really see this one. I don't think it's fast enough. And lastly, we have 3 cards that have been talked about a lot already because they were the first 3 cards released. So I'm just going to go over them really fast and give my general thoughts. The first one is Minion, 2 mana 2/1, Last Breath, create a copy of me in hand at round end. Bandle City and Shadow Isles. I think this is actually a very powerful card, even though 2 mana 2/1 isn't very good. You don't want to just be dropping this on turn 2 and hope you can survive against aggro because you have a blocker every turn. That's not how this works. It's basically, you want to use this as like, I don't want to say infinite value because it's only round end, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. But manifesting this from a Bandle City Mayor is going to be super strong. Also, I like this as Victor support because with Victor, you can discount this. So you can play a 1 mana 2/1 every turn if Victor is leveled, or with Glorious Evolution, you keep getting minions back to actually play and proc your other augments. Even something like Snapvines would love this card. You get a card to play to proc them every single turn. But overall, this is definitely going to be played as a minion that can keep coming back, keep blocking your opponent's stuff, keep attacking for only 2 mana in a long game. That is not a very big investment for the upside that you get from it. So I expect this card to see some experimentation in decks, but it's probably not going to be main decked all that often. However, you're going to see this a lot from manifests because this is a premium pick if you can find it. Next is the Grumble Slug, a 2 mana 2/3 with Attune from Bilgewater and Bandle City. I think this card is good, but I don't think it's going to be very good for Bilgewater because Marai Warden is just better and Nami isn't really seeing any play. And for Bandle City, I think this is a lot stronger, mainly for Bandle 3 decks, because they run Fizz as their champion. And with this card, they can open up a champion slot for something that's potentially better, because now they have a Bilgewater card to get to that Bandle 3 win con faster. People consider Attune to be worth half a mana, not a full mana, even though you get 1 full spell mana, because you have to pay the full mana for the minion, and you get that back as spell mana to use later. So it's not like you're just discounting the unit directly. It's a little more awkward than that. However, getting this from a Bandle City Mayor and playing it for 1 mana and getting that 1 spell mana back directly is very good. So just like Minion, I expect this card to be picked off of Manifest, like from Loping Telescope, from the Mayor, most frequently. And lastly, the most controversial card of them all, 4 mana 4/4 Yordle Captain from Bandle City. When you summon another ally with equal or less power than me, grant it +1/+1. It is Poppy in disguise, except I think it's worse than Poppy. Pretty easy to do because Poppy is kind of broken, but people are going kind of crazy over this card and I really don't think it's that strong. The thing is, if you're playing a swarm deck, you really want to fill the board as soon as possible. So if you do that, you're swarming the board on turn 1, 2, 3, and then you play Poppy, then you attack with Poppy, it's a direct payoff. You're buffing the board that you've already built. With the Yordle Captain, you have to play him on turn 4. And then after turn 4, you have to start playing more minions to actually get the benefit. And while that can get out of control really fast, in a Swarm deck, after turn 4, that's already pretty late. Your opponent is going to have their board clears online. I still think it's good. I just don't think it's going to be good every single time. You have to do a lot of work, and it is in Bandle City, so it's not really that easy to protect either. Still, if you play this card with something like the Tenor of Terror, or other cards that summon more cards, like the Marai Warden, the House Spider, even if you play this with Sand Soldiers or Blades, it's pretty disgusting. but those are all synergies that I just don't really see happening. This card is going to be powerful in the Lulu Poppy decks that were Demacia and Vandal City with rallies and stuff, but even there, I don't think it's going to be the star of that deck. I still think Poppy is just going to be stronger if she doesn't get nerfed. Who knows what could happen when Poppy gets nerfed, and maybe this is just a better version and playable in all those decks. So those are my card reveals for the first few cards that have been released. I don't upload videos for every single day because I think quality over quantity. I like looking at cards when the package is kind of clear. Like I saw the cards yesterday and I was like, well, these cards seem terrible. But once we get Kennen, then maybe they make a little more sense. So here I am talking about them now that I know what the synergy is, and I hope you feel the same way about that. Let me know what you think about the cards. Did I miss anything obvious, any fun deck ideas or synergies? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you, well, tomorrow for a gameplay video and also for the next champion that gets revealed.